Hello, builders of nations. Don't you think that meaningful teaching should be a conversation between you and your learners and the subject matter? Have you thought about the fact that conversations, no matter how mundane or boring, are all about sharing thoughts, events, details, and information? And aren't one-sided conversations boring? Isn't a real conversation about the engagement of all concerned, the quest for understanding? And have you realized that everything I've said so far has been in the form of a question? Because good questions draw people into the conversation, make them a part of it, and encourage them to contribute. It's no different with meaningful teaching. When we ask children good questions, we're inviting them to become an active part of their own learning. In this video, I'm going to deal specifically with the kinds of questions that we could ask, and in the next one, I'll suggest some ways of asking them. Questioning should be something that forms a natural part of every lesson, and both you and your learners should enjoy the process. But good questioning takes thought and some work on our parts. Meaningless questions are often the easiest, but also the most pointless. Do you all understand? Might seem like the right thing to ask, but no child is going to raise a hand and tell you that he or she can't make any sense of the learning. And those questions that require the whole class to chant the answer, what are we actually achieving with them? Good questioning requires us to do some serious thinking and preparation. After all, why do we ask questions? Some of the reasons could be that we simply want learners to remember something, or we want to check their understanding of a concept. We might want to check their progress. We could also be encouraging learners to formulate their own thoughts and ideas. This is an important part of formative assessment, and we plan our questions accordingly. We also help learners to build their critical thinking and problem-solving skills when we use questioning. And these skills we know are going to be essential in preparing them for the uncertain futures in this fourth industrial revolution. These questions need us to pre-plan and think about them very carefully before we ask them, so that we are sure that what we are asking is going to lead to that important learning process. When I was working in face-to-face situations, I used to prepare for my lessons by making a list of questions. This preparation helped me to decide on what I actually wanted to achieve with each question, and I could also adapt it to the learners in the classes I was working with. I could ask my questions in language that I knew the learners would understand, and I would also have a fairly good idea of the kinds of responses that I could expect. But even then, there were some that were wonderfully unpredictable. I'm not going to deal with Bloom's taxonomy here, but I'm sure that everyone knows about it. For those of you who are not certain, it would be worth finding it on the web and having a look at it. It deals with the different levels of questioning and the skills that each level develops. For our purposes, I'm going to split questions into two categories only, although you know there are many more. Let's just look at lower order and higher order for now. Lower order questions are important for checking that students remember important information, their understanding of the work, and their abilities to summarize the content. Basically, these questions are based on facts and information. These questions might start with words like what or when. Higher order questions are important for encouraging critical, deep thinking in learners and for giving them the opportunities to problem solve. They could lead to conversations and discussions and could help children to become involved in active learning. These questions give the opportunity to evaluate and analyze information and never require a right or a wrong answer. They are actually a part of the learning experience and invite children to think for themselves. These questions might start with, what do you think? Or why do you think? In these instances, learners are encouraged to think first and then formulate their own responses. When we ask good questions, we encourage our learners to become an active part of the learning conversation, and we gently move them into real thinking. When we ask poor questions, learners are much more likely to disengage and to become bored and restless. And when they opt out like this, we've lost them. When you think about it, asking good questions is not only important in the classroom. Good questions also control the quality of our social interactions. Try this. The next time you meet someone you know, don't ask them how they are, because everyone always says fine, literally without thinking about it. Instead, ask them, what has been the best part of your day so far? And watch how the conversation develops from there. The change is amazing, and it gives us the opportunity to really hear how our friends are doing. It is strongly believed that because the Fourth Industrial Revolution is a time of unprecedented and unimagined change, our work as teachers is to encourage critical thinking and problem-solving skills in our learners. We have no idea what they will be facing in their own futures, but we can give them the thinking skills to cope with these changes. Perhaps even we can benefit from this, because we are not exempt from what this digital age is bringing into our own lives. Build on, you strong leaders and influencers, and think about it. What has been the best part of your day so far? Take care and stay safe. I'll see you again.